Going to be this room called the crystal room, and this is about 220 feet below our surface. Our temperature is going to range from 56 to 62 degrees all year round. Doesn't matter if it rains or snow on top of the surface, we still remain the same temperature. According to this device at this moment, we are 59.2. It might go 1 degree and that's it. This is our first main tunnel, so watch your step and also heads and shoulders.
Oh dang, this is so cool. This is so cool. Look at that.
Okay, the story of the Grand Canyon Caverns Formation started way back 345 millions years ago. This formation, the way it was started, it was from these tiny sea animals. At one time, they lived from the bottom of the ocean, and from their shells and skeletons, they created this fine, rich deposit or OZ mud. So during the tour, you're gonna see so much of limestone, and also this looked like a snowball called gypsum, and also selenite crystal. This side right here is called the Chapel of the Ages, which is 206 feet below the surface, a large and known deposit of selenite crystal. And also there's two recesses, we call it Chapel of the Ages. First is going to be this arch formation. Second, in the last 40 years, we have 12 weddings performed here. So I'm going to be talking about those 12 weddings as well. This part right here, very similar to the bottom of the ocean, because at one time, the whole entire canvas was covered by water, by ocean. We're talking way back millions years ago. This part right here, this side right here is called a stalagmite, cave onyx, and flow stone. On this side we have these two domes or chambers, they're called Cathedral Dome, 90 feet above trail. So at one time, the erosion, the water created these formations or these tiny sea animals. Right?
Jeez, this is kind of scary.
Okay, this open space right here, this is an example of what happened back in 1927 when Walter Page discovered these caverns. When he found these caverns back then, his first impression was to find gold, diamond, and silver. Since he never found gold, diamond, and silver, he started this very first tour, and he called it Dope on the Rope Tour. So what it was back then, from the main entrance, we're going to be heading that area, that direction. He starts sending people one by one with a rope around the waist and sending you 150 feet. The only thing that you had in your hands was a box of matches and a lantern. So once you arrive back then in these caverns, there was no fancy lights like this. There was no walkways like this. No fence at all. So you were doing your own tours, your own explorers by yourself. Sometimes Walter Peg will come and see, oh, they're doing so great. Let's go ahead and leave them a couple of more hours. Wow, I can imagine those tours back then, right? Nowadays, we don't do that, right? We have a tour guide, and we got so much things to display for our guests, right? Here we have the cabin suite, which is 2 queen-size beds. These are futons.
What? You can sleep here?
There's a TV, DVD player. This square box right here, you can see the shower head. This is our restroom. Believe me or not, even though we're off season, this cabin suite, we probably rent it at least 1 or 2 days out of the week, or sometimes 3 times, right? We even have celebrities staying here, like Ozzy Osbourne, Steven from Jackass, the movie, and also the Ghost Adventure stayed here. I'm gonna show you where we recorded this episode. I even see it this past weekend, so you guys can see this either Netflix or YouTube. All right. These two old waterways on the side, they're about 35 feet deep in. Back in the days, water used to run through these tunnels almost like a river. Nowadays, we use these two old waterways for our wild explorer tours. I'm going to explain more about those tours as we go along in our tours. Yeah.
Hey, you can slip. You can slip here. Yeah. That's kind of scary.
Okay, number 5, we have this rare form of selenite crystal called halatites. In Latin, the word means hollow. This cup holder very sensitive and fragile. Later on, I'm going to show you a larger size of this unique and shiny rock. In the meantime, let's head on to number 6 so we can talk about these 12 weddings. Here you can see a better view of our theater and also our suite. Back in April 15, 1977, our first wedding was performed here. The couple were employees here for our caverns. One of them worked at the curie shop and the other one worked at the restaurant. So they made a commitment to get married here on a rock-solid foundation, so they found the perfect place, this platform, and the caverns. And to this day, they're still married and they live in Phoenix, Arizona, happy ever after. So what they left behind, so we can remember them being the first wedding back in 1977. This is their bridal velvet here. All the rest of the bouquets are from 12 weddings performed here in the last 40 years. This one, 20 years ago, we can still see the green color on the leaf and also dark red on the rose, as well as this bouquet. Why? Because of our low humidity, low temperature, and free bacteria, these bouquets preserve themselves. Right? Right, let's head on to our next site, which is this second ton over here, man-made. This ton over here, it took about these 40 cases of dynamite, and also it's 160 feet long, so we're gonna do a little bit of hiking here, going up. Right? Exercise. Yeah. Exercise. Oh. Oh, that's in the summertime. Right now, I'm probably doing 5. Oh, okay.
I can't barely breathe because it's kind of close. Yeah, water.
Where?
There. Emergency shelter.
Okay, this sign right here is called the House of Gold, Auction of Iron. This hall is a good size of 2 football fields. From this corner right here, on the other side, we're heading that direction. In 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, President John F. Kennedy assigned this area as a underground emergency shelters and food supplies. So what we got here, we have these boxes of crackers. These barrels are full of water right here. In this corner, we have all the medical supplies and also MREs, meals ready to eat. 2011, these cases of water were brought off, so in this way we can be well prepared for any natural disasters, chemical warfare, or even earthquakes. The whole entire supplies will provide for 2,000 people, and it's going to last about 2 or 3 weeks depending on the crisis. If the crisis continue, they are going to bring more supplies. The coverage will be 60 miles radius, so it's going to be the small town of Sligman, Arizona, the Wallapai Indian Reservation, and also Kingman, Arizona, which is 60 miles away from this location or caverns. Do you guys have any questions or comments about this site right here? Empty.
But none of the rocks gonna fall?
Excuse me?
None of the rocks gonna fall?
Never.
Never?
These been here for so many years, thousands of years, so pretty much they're solid and stable. It looks like it. Even this part right here, this is another
Yeah.
dome or chamber. As we go along, we're gonna see so much of these domes and chambers. I'm gonna show you a bigger size of these domes.
Ooh.
All right? No more questions, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's head out to our next site.
I like this one.
Just like in a movie.
¿Dónde Lima? Snowball Palace. Oh, look at it.
Snowball, please.
Okay, this site right here is called a Snowball Palace. This material or deposit is called ginseng. And ginsengs are known better to make drywalls or walls for houses or residential. This part right here in the last 40 years are from human hands. Our hands have so much of our oil, sweat, and bacteria pretty much damaged this part right here. In order to restore this formation or snowballs, it's going to take a couple of years or even thousands of years. Back then, they were so curious about these snowballs formation, so they just needed to have that touchy feeling. You can see those dark spots of all fingers back then, right? Yeah. So the thing they don't know about this crest or layer, there's more limestone right here. So this, the original color is gonna be this part right here, which is like a chalk color or white bone color. But this part right here, permanent is pretty much damaged. I'm gonna show you one side where these snowballs are doing their little stalactites. Since there's no water at all here in these dry caverns, there's something else besides water. So as soon as we get to that site, I'm gonna mention about these snowballs making their formation, all right? In the meantime, let's head out to our next site, which is gonna be this huge cave that we have here. Okay, this cave right here is called the Mystery Room, which is about 318 to 400 feet below the surface. According to our expert geologist, there's no ending. So the only thing that we know from here to Havasu Falls or even Grand Canyon National Park is 65 miles away. which is very true. We're not too far away from those two locations. At the same time, this cave right here circulates and floats our air. This air right here is almost like a natural air condition, right? So when there's high pressure above the surface, low pressure comes from this cave right here and travels straight out to our elevator shaft. The opposite. When there's low pressure above the surface, high pressure comes from this cave right here and travels straight out to our elevator shaft. The elevator is the only opening that we have here, because previously in the past, we had other openings, but we had creatures and animals fall back from the top of the surface. They enter here, and they don't really survive so much because of this temperature conditions. So eventually they die of starvation or not having food or water, right? So this air goes back and forth on a daily basis. At the same time, our expert geologists are still studying more about this cave right here, because they found air passes or air rooms where this air goes back and forth on a daily basis. Our tours, our wild explorer tours, they'll start from that two old waterways, and from there they're going to be going from spot to spot and entering here, at least 400 feet. Most of the time during these tours, they're about 2-3 hours tours. Most of the time you're going to be crawling through these rocks and boulders. There's some times where you're going to be crawling through these rocks and boulders, trying to squeeze your body through these rocks and boulders. Like I said, we do provide all equipment gears from knee pads, elbow pads, rope, gloves, helmet with the flashlight, and also a tour guide who's going to guide you all the way down. They could go further, but like I said, it's going to take them longer and longer for them to reach our even 600 feet or even 700 feet. So that's why they go at least 400 feet, and they're going to come back 400 feet back. Yeah, the tours are a little bit longer, 2-3 hours long tours. If you guys are interested, you guys can sign in anytime.
Oh, ours. Let's go.
All right?
I thought it was easy. Take a set.
Is that a dead animal?
Yeah.
One time,
Bobcat.
What is that?
it was alive.
Wow.
Okay, this modified bobcat, and one time he fell from the main entrance. I'm going to show you that very soon. And when he fell here, this foreleg right here, it was broken. So at that time, he didn't know how deep it was. So this leg right here, it was broken. So it was forward to the University of Arizona Tucson for further study and test. From there, that's where they figured out how long he's been here. So from 1850, that's about 169 years ago, or 170. So over the years, he's been here on these temperature conditions, low humidity and free bacteria. He turned into a modified bobcat or a preserved bobcat, right? Here we have an example replica so we can show our guests how a full bobcat looks. Right, so it'll be before and after.
we go around.
As we go around, watch for this ledge sticking out right here. Be careful.
It's a lot of water.
Okay, here we can see a better view of our supplies. This event happened in December of 1962. Early that same year, we opened the elevator. From there, they brought all the supplies through the elevator. I'm pretty sure they did so much about going up and down through this elevator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they still good or no?
Excuse me?
Are the water still good to drink?
What do you think?
Probably no.
No?
It's like more
No,
than
yeah, it's still good.
couple.
They're still good.
Still good?
Why?
Was
So
One thing they never got the rays from the sun. We gotta understand they're underground for a long time. Either this part right here, I want to say we're still 220, or at least 200 feet right here. As we're going up, we're gonna go all the way to 150 feet, which that's where he sent people from the top of the surface 150 feet. So we're gonna be there very soon. But right now we're about at least 200 feet right here. Yes, they're still good because, like I said, they never. And plus, having a low temperature and low humidity, free bacteria, they're still good. Even those MREs, military food, and people say they're not good. Others they say they're still good. Yeah. Okay, right here, this is one of our highest points of the whole entire cavern. It's called the Mammoth Dome, which is 142 feet above trail. This first red shelf right here is going to be 92. From here to the top of the surface, that's another additional 50 feet. So 50 feet plus 92, total is going to be 142 feet above trail. This part right here, red clay mixed with calcium and minerals, and here we have our mixed gypsum flour mixed with selenite crystal, and also we have our gray cluster from the bottom all the way to the top. Okay, this is the side where I wanted to show you guys about these snowballs making their little stalactites. There's a couple of them over here, and also over here. You see it? Yeah. How they're growing a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, it says there's no water at all here. There's something else besides water. I'm going to give you a hint. We do our tours every day. We do our tours every day. There's no water at all here. But there's something else besides water. And we do our tours every day.
a sweat from our body?
Exactly. Thank you. Even my breath, my sweat, everything. Even spit when people kind of do their spit.
Yeah.
Okay, our body has so much of moist
Yeah.
making this formation. We are open all year round except for Christmas, 7 days.
Yeah.
We bring so much people here, especially in our peak season. Wow, so many people. So at the same time, we're exploring these caverns, walls, or snowballs, or formations. There's a couple of them over here. Look over here. Oh man,
Yeah.
I didn't even see these over here.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them. They're little by little. They're growing. I mean, I'm not saying they're gonna grow fat right away. If water would have been here present, I'm pretty sure they would have making their little stalactites right longer. But it's taking little by little. With some reason, I keep seeing this getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many inches, but they grow, but they are making a
Even
little,
over there too. Like
yeah, there's quite a few there.
Yeah.
This part right here. All right. Interesting thing, huh? To find out.
Yeah.
Can we sit?
Okay, this site right here, number 14, the construction project begins 1958 to 1962. During this time, Walter Peck lost these cash for not paying taxes, so these brothers took over the business. Back then, they were known as the Richard Brothers. Today, they are known as the Yellow Fried Trucking. So, top of the surface, they start pouring the concrete to this box right here. And from here, it was transferred to this wheelbarrow. All the way, we start our tours at the beginning. They start laying all the concrete, all the entire fencing, the 3 tunnels,
How the fuck they
in
put that
our
inside
over
in
the
it?
track. You can see some of the workers back then. This is their footprints back then. It took me,
How did they do
took
it?
4 years to finish this
It's a
project.
small hole.
Why? Because back then,
The room.
we're talking late 50s, early
How did they
60s.
do that?
So back then, they didn't have enough tools.
The
Maybe
cement.
they had an extra wheelbarrow.
Come
and
down
few
from the
tools,
truck
right?
up. Down
If they would have done this project nowadays, I'm pretty sure they will finish this within 6 months or even less. Why? Because nowadays we have so much of equipment, tools, even this technology that we have nowadays, 6 months or even less. Believe me. Okay, this bull snake, and one time he fell from the construction hole right here, or from the main entrance, which is these stairs right here. These animals, they won't survive so long. I want to say probably give them at least 72 hours and that's it. Next, a coyote, the same way.
Snake.
Is that a snake?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey.
Oh, there's a coyote over here. What the heck is that?
So this coyote, the same way, never survived. Instead of that, he dried himself so quick.
Oh, this is the going up. Iris, look.
All right, where these stairs are, this is the main entrance. Before the staircase were installed here, this is where
Where's the
Walter
coyote?
did his tours, those from the road tour. So from top of the surface, he'll send people down 150 feet. So this is the actual 150 feet. So as we're hitting downstairs, we're gonna drop back to 220. But right here, 150 right here. So right here, once you arrive here, you're doing your own tours, your own explorers by yourself, right? 10 years after, 1937, the brothers, with the help of some of the engineers and workers, they came here and helped out to install this staircase or bridge. By then, people were coming through these tours. It was getting popular. These brothers were charging 75 cents per person. Walter Peck for the dope on the road was only charging 25 cents. So that's the reasons he lost these cabins for not making so much money, right? 30 years after, we opened the elevator in 1962. Since then, this main entrance been sealed for good reasons. We don't want no other creatures and animals to fall back here in these dry caverns, right? Other than that, if you guys don't have any questions about this main entrance, let's go ahead and talk about this prehistoric slot right here.
This
Slot
is the
bear.
one in the picture upstairs, right?
Excuse me?
This is the picture upstairs, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I see.
yes. So this is the, we do have pictures from the outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the main entrance right here.
Okay.
So that's where he starts sending people 150 feet. So like I said, this is 150 feet right here. As we're heading downstairs, we're gonna be heading back to 220.
So any workers died down here?
Workers? No.
Anyone else?
Maybe. Since you already mentioned it, let's go back. Okay, let's talk before we talk to this slot bear. Let's go back since you already mentioned. I just want to be honest with you guys. Okay, I'm going to do this. Let's go back. Let's go rewind time. 1917. Before they found these caverns, you guys gotta understand. Native Americans, my ancestor Wallapies, they roam around these areas way back. So, at one time, these Wallapies, they used to come here. My ancestors, they used to come here to get wood, cut wood, and take it back home, which is Peach Springs, which is about 15 minutes away from here. So from there, they roam around. They knew about this sinkhole, and one time it was a sinkhole a small, the way I show you guys, the one on the bottom,
Yeah.
but it turned into a huge funnel just like this, just the size of this. So these ancestor Wallapies knew that this sinkhole was here, but they never bothered. Maybe they knew what was down here. 10 years after, 1927, that's when they found these caverns. Either Walter Peck stumbled these two Wallapai members or other workers that are working here at the same time when they found out it was these two ancestor Wallapais. The legend says they were coming on this deep cold winter blizzard. At the same time, they got caught up. A group of Wallapais, they were coming through this way. They were going home, but these two Wallapais, they got caught up because this cold winter blizzard. They got caught up and died here. At the same time, they didn't want them to go back because they were carrying this disease, virus, and back then there was no vaccination, nothing like that, right? Didn't exist at that time. So pretty much they died here. They didn't want them to go back home to Peach Springs because they were carrying this disease. So they think they were going to spread it to the whole rest of the community, right? So at the same time, they died here. And from there, like I said, I don't really share the stories, but when people say, besides workers not dying here, others, like you said, so I say, oh man. So in that minute, I had to say, okay, let's go ahead and share it. Be honest, I don't really share these. In my briefing, I don't really mention about it. Because I just want to give respect to my ancestors. They're buried, from the top of the surface, they're buried about 50 feet. So besides having creatures and animals, I always say that, I just kind of give respect to my ancestors. So for me, myself, it's like almost a sacred burial site. So I don't really mention it in my tours unless somebody comes up and say, or sometimes they read our website and say, two Native Americans, these are Native Americans, they're Wallapais members. Like you gotta understand that at one time these ancestor Wallapais, they roam around the whole entire area. From Prescott all the way down to even parts of Nevada. And one time we're a big nation, but as time goes by, we just decrease ourselves, right? From there, like I said, you're right. There's two ancestor Wallapais are still buried here. So I tell people, yes, the ghost is not Walter Peck or the prehistoric slot bear, is them roaming around still here. All right? Okay, this prehistoric slot bear, she's only a baby female, about 1 or 2 years old. When she fell here in this area, they found her bones in this right here. So 95% of her bones were all found in this area.